All right, I'm looking for my ready table group who's going to join me first at the smartboard. That means their math message folders are put away. They're waiting with their whiteboard and their marker. All right, table group 3. Thank you very much. And also, can you leave a really big space right there so we're going to start folding? Yeah, make smart choices about where you're sitting. All right, table group 3. Or 2, I'm sorry. I already called table group 3. And table group 1. You guys look, oh, James. Thank you very much. Okay. Making smart choices, waiting for people to sit. Remember, you need a little space for your whiteboard in front of you. There's no need to have the caps off. I know it's tempting, but you'll have a chance to write, I promise. And I think maybe right there would be a good spot, so it's kind of crowded over there. And I said that was actually a pretty good spot, as long as you can see. Can you see there? All right. Okay. Can we have our whiteboards just flipped over, please? And our markers on the ground. We shouldn't even be holding it. All right? Flip over your whiteboards. Thank you very much. All right. In our lesson today, we will read with me. Count by ones, tens, and 100s. Good job. That was loud. And our second. Model and write 3 and 4-digit numbers using base 10 blocks. Awesome job. In our math message, we had a little exposure to using those base 10 blocks. But now, I want to talk about something very important. Disney World. Yay! Now, I want you to imagine that we're going on a class trip to Disney World. How awesome would that be, right? 1 second, hands down, I'll explain. Now, for anyone who's been to Disney World, and I know some people just went on trips there for spring break, one thing they'll tell you, it's very expensive. I mean, the food's expensive, the souvenirs, the stuffed animals, the getting into Disney World is expensive. So, we're going to imagine we're all going on a class trip, and I just happen to win the lottery, and I have a ton of money to give away. So, what I'm going to tell you is, you can use the numbers 1, 5, and 9 to make a certain amount of money, okay? So if I'm using those 3 numbers, what is my largest place value you can have in that number? Now, I'm not saying don't use any of the numbers, but what is just this largest place value here? Nick?
9.
What is my largest place value? Right here. So we go ones. Braylon? Hundreds, right? So your number will be in the hundreds place. I expect that. But now, please flip over your whiteboards. On your own, this isn't a test or anything, we're just practicing. Write the number using these 3. You can only use each number once that you would like to get from me, the amount that you would like to get. Write it on your whiteboard. Leave room though, don't write it huge, okay? What number would you guys like to get? You can't use the same number. Good question. Can't use the same number. That's smart thinking, though. Nick?
Wait, is it just what we would like to get, or?
No, it's the number you would like to get from me. Using these 3 numbers, make a number. Make an amount of money you would like to get.
Like, is it just what you would like to get, or just the largest?
The,
Like.
well, I would assume you'd want the largest amount, right? We'll talk about that. Write the number. Good thinking. All right, once you have it, please tap your marker. I'll know you're ready. Eve?
So you're talking about you'll give us the money? Or no?
We're imagining. Miss Sharing isn't super rich here. I can't give you guys all this much money.
You'll imagine, so if we imagine, you'll actually, if we imagine, like in our imagination, will you give us like the money we wrote down?
In your imagination, that's the point. We can imagine. All right, cap your pens once you're done, or your markers, I should say. Waiting for some caps. Waiting for some caps. Now, I'm still waiting for a couple caps, please. Now, look at the people's numbers next to you. Just compare. You don't really have to say much. Just look at the numbers next to you. Look at the numbers next to you. Okay? Everyone got a good look? Raise your hand if you can come up to the smart board. I'm going to actually make this right here. 1, 2, 3. Raise your hand if you can come up to the smart board, listen closely, and tell me and move the number that would go in the hundreds place that you would like. Lauren, come on up. Let's all watch her. See what she says. Oh, I see her adding, just one. Thank you very much. We're going to have someone else do tens place. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you got for the hundreds place. Ooh, you guys are greedy. What about the tens place now? Who can come up and move the number that they would put in the tens place? Someone here. Sophie, come on up. Let's see. Oh, you guys are going to cost me a lot. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you would put in the tens place. Give me a thumbs down if you have something different. If you have anything different, that's okay. No? All right. And last but not least, who can come up? Braylon, go ahead. Very good. And I'm assuming you guys all said that, so you all had your thumbs up for the last one. Now, I'm assuming we're not talking about like 951 cats here. We're talking about $951. $951. If that's the answer you got, give yourself a pat on the back. You guys would cost me a lot of money if this was true. All right, very good. I have a question now. I have a pretty tricky question here. I believe that a lot of you guys got this answer, but I want to know why this is the answer you chose. Not stating the obvious, but why does this make the biggest answer so? I'm going to let you guys do a think, pair, share with someone either next to you or behind you. Why does this make the biggest answer? Okay, go ahead. Lauren, can you go over here? Why? You guys talk, it's okay. Join that group, okay? Alright. See what it's okay? What do you think? Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We don't need to be erasing anything. Don't even worry about that right now. Please cap your markers and flip over your whiteboards. You guys did a great job with them. We'll come back to them later. I'm going to talk to you 1 second. Alright, waiting for everyone ready? Alright, raise your hand and tell me, why does this make the biggest number? All of you, a lot of you seem to figure this one out, but why do you think this makes the biggest number? What do you think? Shreya?
Because the biggest number has to go in the biggest place. The biggest place value is hundreds right now. So the 9 is the biggest number for us.
Shreya, you just explained that so well. Give yourself a pat on the back. That was great. She said the biggest number should go in the biggest place value. If it's the biggest place value, it's going to have the most value. So if this is 900 here, what if I put that 9 here? How much would it be worth? If I put the 9, instead of putting it there, I put it at the end, what would the number be right here then, Braylon?
$9.
It would just be $9.
Wait, no, 9 cents. No, $9.
Oh. We don't have our decimals, so we don't have our decimal. We don't have our decimal. Okay? So, he's right though. He says it would be $9 because we'd be moving its place value. Does it make sense that if the biggest number is in the largest or most, the place value that's worth the most, that's going to create a large number, right? You guys did great with that, and I've heard so many people saying similar things. Awesome job. Eve, do you have something to add?
Can I show you something I did with mine? This is something really good. Can I show you?
Is it something related to this? All right. Let's see it.
wrote cents with it.
I was gonna say, okay, I see why you do that. I was gonna say though, Eve, if you put 2 zeros after this, some other people might have done that. Raise your hand if, okay.
Yeah, but you can't use
A lot of people did that, but, okay, James is right, we can't use other numbers, but this wouldn't be changing the number, would it? No. But if we put the 9, 5 at the end, we couldn't repeat any numbers. So I get what you're thinking. Good
Yeah,
thing.
because I want to write cents so I could be really greedy and I could get more money.
Only 95 cents more. But she is right. All right, moving on. I need 3 volunteers. People who've been participating, people who are eager, that are sitting flat bottom. E and B, you're one of them. Come on up. Vanessa, you can come on up. And Jack, come on up. I'm actually going to need more volunteers in a bit, so hold tight. I'll have more people. Can I please have Vanessa stand right here? I'll have Ian stand in the middle, and I'll have Jack stand right next to Ian. All right. Now, if I'm reading a number which starts at Anessa and goes down to Jack, what place value would Anessa be? What place value? What do you think? What do you think? Think it. We'll see if we get it right on this one. Think it. Say it. Hundreds place. Very good. And then Ian would be think it, say it. 10. And Jack would be think it, say it. 1. Awesome job. You guys are on today. All right. I'm going to hand these to Anessa. Does everyone agree that these represent our hundreds? Okay. I'm going to hand those to Anessa. I'm going to hand these to Ian. Does everyone agree that these represent our tens? All right. These are going to Ian. And I'm going to hand these to Jack. Does everyone agree that these represent our ones?
Yes.
All right. Here you go. Please hold those up for the class so they can see, guys. Just hold them up a bit. All right. Flip your whiteboards over, please. I told you I was going to give you chances to write on them. All right. Write the number. Wait for the direction, though. I'm not going to ask for the whole number yet. Write the number that Anessa represents. Just Anessa. Wait 1 second. We're going to talk about it. Just Anessa. If you want to put an A and a dash, you can. After that, write the number that Ian represents. Look up here if you need to see. The number that Ian represents. See some hard workers. And last but not least, represent the number that Jack represents. Or write the number, I'm sorry. All right. A couple of people still working? All right, now look at the person next to you and compare your numbers. Just take a minute to look and see if you guys have the same thing for each person.
How do you know?
It only takes a quick minute.
How do you know what has
Magic, count to 3. Looking for any people, please. 1, 2, 3. All right. What number did you get that Anessa is representing? What did you get? Cameron?
200.
200. Give me 2 thumbs up if you got 200. Awesome job. Pat on the back. What number did you guys get that Ian is representing? Just Ian now. Think it. Say it. 40. You guys are so smart. And what about Jack? Look up here. Think it. Say it. 2. And I also see signals. I like those. Very good. Now on your whiteboard, write the entire, or the whole number that they're forming here. The whole number.
Good.
What do you think? We don't necessarily have to add them up. We could, if that makes sense. But just think, we have 3 people up here, so the largest place value would only be a certain amount. Once you think you got it, cap your pen. That's how I'll know. That's your signal. Cap your pen once you think you got it. Now, I'm curious. It's okay if you didn't get this one. It's not a test. I'm just curious. Once you're done, hold your whiteboard up to show me. Just looking. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Tell me what the total number they're representing is. Think it. Blow it in your hand. And say it. 242, and if we were talking about dollars, it would be dollars. Very good job. Please flip your whiteboard over so you're not on the white side. Put it in front of you or to the side of you and cap your pen. Awesome job. You guys may hand those back to me and sit down. Way to be awesome place value holders. All right. Now, I have a question. We all agree, okay, it's 242 that they're representing. 242. What if I added this to the number? What would the new number be? What do you think? We talked about this in our math message, how much this would be worth. So adding this to our number, what would the new answer be? What would the new answer be? Turn to your pair and discuss with them what you think the new answer Magic, count to 3, looking for any people. Please, 1, 2, 3, awesome. What do you guys think? What was the change? Do you think that if I did a think it, say it on this, we could say this big number at the same time? Do you think? Let's try it. Think it. Say it.
1,242.
Awesome job. You guys are so smart. Okay, please flip your whiteboards over. We still need to have those over. I saw some people wrote it. That's okay, but flip them over. I'm sorry, I should not be seeing the white side. I should be seeing the brown side. Okay, don't worry about erasing it. I should be seeing the brown side. Brown side, I'm sorry. All right, question. You guys said if I added on that, it would be 1,242. Did that change the place value of these?
No.
Did that change the place value of these? Yes, no. Yes, no. No, it didn't. Why not? Why didn't it change the place value of those? Why didn't it change the place value of those? What do you think, Shreya?
Because it's still the same number, just the thousands coming in.
It's still the same number, but we just added on 1,000, right? So that'd be in the new largest place value. Awesome job. Very good. What if I'm going to reverse things here. This is our challenge, and I want to see if we can figure it out. Can I have you guys turn towards me? Thank you. Here's our challenge. Do you think we can do it? You guys don't know what it is yet, but do you think you can do it? All right, let's see. Now, you know how last time I gave the people the base 10 blocks, and they held them up for us to figure out? This time, I'm going to write a number, and you guys are going to tell me what each person should be given, okay? So I'm going to write a number here. Can I have 4 volunteers? Please raise your hand. Kate? Cam? Lauren? Kylie? Come on up, but you know what? This one is just as important for the people in the audience because you guys are actually, instead of writing it or writing on your whiteboards, we're going to figure out what each person gets. So if I have 4 place value spots, oh, that just changed everything, didn't it? I still have 4 place value spots. What would Kate represent? What would Kate represent? Whisper it in your hand. Blow it out and say it. What would Cameron represent? Whisper it in your hand. I'm allowing for some time for people to think. Whisper. Blow it out. What would Kylie represent? Blow it in your hand. Say it. And one more time. Blow it in your hand. Say it. 1. Very good. So if my number is 1,362, what should we give to Kate? What should we give to Kate? What do you think? Why don't you, I'm going to call one person to tell me what base 10 block would represent that, and then we're going to signal the amount, okay, of that block. So, Anna, will you tell me first what Kate I need to give to Kate? 1,000. So I'm going to be using these. Signal to me how many of these I'll be giving to Kate. Signal. Signal to me. Waiting for signals. I see a lot of you signaling 1. You're right. Here you go, Kate. Hold on to that for me. Now, 1,362. What should we give to Cameron? What do you think? What should we give to him? First of all, just tell me the base 10 block. We have names for these. What base 10 block would I give to him? Don't tell me the amount of them though. Georgia? The hundreds ones or the flats? Awesome. Signal to me how many flats Cameron would get. How many flats? Oh my goodness, you guys are right. Here's your 3 flats. Hold them up. All right, and Kylie, 1,362. What is the name of the base 10 block I have to give her, Nyla? It's kind of tricky to remember those names, isn't it? So 1,362. What about Kylie? Everyone be thinking. The long, very good. How many longs? Signal to me how many longs Kylie would get. If you're signaling 6, I agree. I'm going to give her 6 longs. I'm giving her 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And last but not least, Lauren. What would we give to Lauren? What's it called? What's the base 10 block called that I would give to Lauren? Anna? Do you know? So the cubes, right? How many cubes? Signal to me how many cubes. I really like how George is right there with me. Great job listening. Here you go. I agree. 2 cubes. Now, everyone, please hold up what you have. We have, say it with me, 1,362. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys did great. Hand those back to me. And you guys may go sit down. I'm looking for ready people. I'm looking for ready people. We're going to get there. I like how you noticed that, though. They're always hiding, aren't they? Question. We just looked at the number 1,362. I should only be seeing the brown side of your board and pen should be back, okay? 1,362. I have a little question down here. What about 0? What if I had the number 0 and I said, oh, you could put that with that number. Thumbs up if you think you could put it somewhere that would make that a new number. Thumbs down, it won't make any change to the number. If you add a 0 to one of the place value spots, will it change it and make a new number? Or no, it won't make any changes. What do you think? I want to see everyone voting. I'm pretty curious. I see some thumbs up. I see a couple down. This doesn't tell me anything. What do you guys think? Go one way or the other. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. Discuss. Turn and talk to your partner. Why would a marriage All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whiteboards, please put them away. I like when we're using them for math, but otherwise they're pretty distracting. Cameron, flip it over. Thank you. All right, what did you guys come up with? Why might this change or not change the number? Georgia.
Well, if you put it on the end or anywhere in it, but if you put it on the 0 on the end, it would be 13,620.
Oh my goodness, Georgia, that was brilliant. She said if I put it on the end, it would now be 13,620. Did that change the value? Yeah. Absolutely. That's a much bigger number. Would you rather have $3,620 or $13,620? 13,000. I agree. can I have people refocus? I know we have the whiteboards out. Our hands don't need to be on them. Kate, please set it down. Sophie? Yep, she wants to add something else. Oh, she said if we take out the 3, it'd be 1,620. That's true. That makes it a smaller number, huh? Okay.
I was explaining the same thing to Kylie because we use formulas, and you wouldn't say 1,300, 600, and 20.
Yeah.
Because how would you say that? So I did say 13,000. I didn't have time to say the rest, but I would have said 600.
620, yeah. Question. We all agree, okay, we had a bigger number. But why? What did that make the other numbers do? Jim, go ahead.
It made the other numbers, like, it would, there would be 5 numbers and 2, and there would have to be 2 in the thousand place.
There'd have to be 2 in the...
2 numbers in the thousand.
Oh, you're saying now it's 13 instead of just one number in the thousands, 3. Right. What happened to these numbers, though? I agree, and I know what you're saying. But what happened to these numbers? What do you think? I appreciate people who keep participating. This is kind of a trickier question. What happened to the 3,000, or what happened to the 1,362 here? Because it doesn't sound the same. I'm going to take this off. I'm getting a little feedback from. What happened?
Something I haven't heard from. I do appreciate people who keep participating. Well, Jacob, what happened?
It made numbers bigger.
It made those numbers bigger. What do you mean by that?
It means, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. The 0 actually makes it more.
The 0 makes it a larger number. I agree. So if these numbers moved this way, someone said that earlier, are they gaining more value or less value? More or less? More or less? Lots of thumbs up. I agree. I know that you guys love when we incorporate stories into something, especially like math, where we usually don't read a lot of stories that are kind of about math. So I brought this story. Oh, do we have a couple people who want to share? I see a lot of people with hands. Quickly whisper your comment to your partner, then we're going to move on. Quickly whisper it to your partner so they can, if it's a question, yeah. Whisper it to someone else. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Okay, back up here. Back up here. Oh, we're sitting down. I'm sorry. Can you please throw away? We don't even need to have the Kleenex out. I said we're not wiping off the whiteboards right now. If you are to this side, to my right of Sophie, pass your whiteboards over towards Shreya and Georgia, and they're just going to set them next to them. First, just your whiteboards. If you are to this side of Sophie, pass them towards Lauren, and Lauren's going to set them next to her. Let's see. Can I have Nicholas and Sophie pick up markers really quickly? They're picking them up really quickly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you are not the person that I give the direction to, you should be waiting for the next direction. All right. All right. Can you please scooch up and sit so that you're facing me this way? Leave those are fine right there, girls. You can just leave them. They're fine. They're fine. All right. We don't need to be crammy. Maybe Kate, can you scooch and give her a little bit of space? Just a little. All right. We talked about this number 0. We talked about it in terms of place value just now. This story talks about the number 0 with addition, with multiplication, but then towards the end, it talks about place value. Lauren? All right, can you read it, please? Lauren? All right. This is going to talk about the number 0 in terms of place value. Girls, focus up here. When we get towards the end of the book, the beginning is probably going to be a lot of review for you, but it's kind of a silly story, so you'll enjoy it. But once we get towards the end, there's going to be a lot about place value, so I want everyone listening. You can leave it, it's fine for now. I just have it on a blank screen. That's why it's still on. Okay? All right, hands down. We're going to start. A Place for Zero, and this is by Angelina Sbrogna Lopresti. Illustrated by Phyllis Horno. A Place for Zero. All right. Not long ago, Zero lay floating on the calm waters of Central Lake. He could hear the happy cries of the other numbers, 1 through 9, as they played in the meadow. Zero didn't play add 'em up because he had nothing to add. He felt he had no place among the other digits. Why do you think he had nothing to add 'em up? What does that mean? What do you think they're kind of relating that to? What do you think? Sure. She said, oh, 4 plus 0 is 4, so he really has no value in that game, right? It's always the same answer. Can I go on or is it something else? Okay. Zero lived in Digitaria, a curious country ruled by King Multiplus and Queen Adeline. Their positive outlooks helped the kingdom prosper. Count Infinity, the king's trusted advisor, was the one who shaped all the numbers. When old digits retired, he replaced them with shiny new numerals. Thumbs up, you've heard of Roman numerals, right? Every number knew its place. A 7 was the number of days in a week, and a 5 was the number of points on a star. A 2 was handy for counting the wheels on a bicycle. The 1s were important because Count Infinity added them together to make the other numbers. Oh, I'm sorry. 4, 0. Should be the second page. I just get so excited by the story sometimes, and this was the page of the story. Questions after, okay? Questions and comments. Try and remember. Every number had a place except 0. Count Infinity had been experimenting when he formed the strange new digit, but 0 meant nothing, and no one was sure what his job would be. King Multiplus declared that no more zeros would be made until they found a purpose for this 1 0. 0 was alone. Nowadays, no one mentions 0 much. The few times someone tried to count with him, they always ended up with nothing. I need to find my place, 0 thought. He decided to go back to visit the wise old Count Infinity and ask his advice. What does it mean the few times they tried to count up with him, that nothing happened? What do you mean? Kind of set this from here. Yeah, it didn't change the number, right, if we were doing addition? Count Infinity made incredible things. He made knickknacks, whatsits, and thingamajigs. The most impressive thing he ever made was an enormous machine, the Numberator. Kind of sounds like numerator, that says Numberator. The Numberator had a vacuum tube on one side and a large curved spout on the other. When Count Infinity placed digits under the tube, they were sucked up with a great clanging and whirling until finally they emerged from the spout with a tiny new number. Count Infinity could put in 2 1s to make a bouncy baby 2, or 3 1s to make a roly-poly little 3. So if he says he puts in 2 1s to get a 2, what problem would that be? What problem would that be, Anna? 1 plus 1 is equals 2, right? I told you this part will all be reviewed, but the end gets a little trickier. As 0 stood shyly in the doorway, Count Infinity looked up and noticed him. "Ah, young 0, Infinity exclaimed. "You're just in time to help me figure out a better way to make 1. "What do you mean?" 0 asked. "Well, most numbers are easy to make. I simply pop a handful of 1s into my trusty Numberator. Making a 1, though, that's trickier." "To make a 1, Count Infinity explained, I spent hours handcrafting it from a special material called Integrium." "Why don't you just stick 1 1 into the Numberator?" 0 asked. Count Infinity sighed. "I've tried that, but the Numberator adds. You have to put in at least 2 numbers. No 2 numbers that I can think of add up to..." Okay, we'll show you that next time. Before I move on, eyed Zero in a strange way. Could you put this 1 into the numerator for me? The Count asked. Just help the 1 stand right under the vacuum tube. Think he's tricking him? As Zero did, he was sucked up into the numerator along with the 1. Zero barely had time to realize what was happening before he was out the other side. Sitting next to him were the old 1 and a shiny new 1. Wonderful, Count Infinity cried. We have discovered your additive identity. I bet my binomials that if we add you to any number, we will always come up with the same number. You can help replenish the supply of digits and digitaria. I think Zero's feeling better now about himself. Or herself. Zero thanked the Count and slowly walked home. He was happy to have a job, but somehow he wasn't satisfied. Ones could make digits too. He wanted to do something no one else could do. I still feel that I haven't really found my place, he said to himself. As Zero walked, he had an idea. I wonder what would happen if I were multiplied with another number. What do you guys think? It's multiplied. What do you guys think? If we multiply any number times 0, we get
0.
Everyone knew that multiplication was a powerful thing, and only the king could use it. Often, the product of the multiplied numbers would be too large for anyone to understand. Zero swallowed hard at the boldness of his idea. Then he stood up as straight as a round digit can. I will ask the king, he decided, and set off for the castle. At the gates of the castle, Zero was stopped by 2 sharp-looking 7s. What kind of number are you? One guard asked. You look like a 9 someone squished. Both guards began to laugh. I need to ask the king about multiplication, said Zero. The guards stopped laughing. They looked at each other. Well, said one, you better go right in. Zero entered the castle. He saw King Multiplis and Queen Adeline on their thrones. Crowds of numbers filled the hall, waiting to address them. The 5 standing next to Zero asked why he was there. I'm asking the king to multiply me, Zero asked. The 5 gasped. Can everyone do a gasp for me? Other numbers who heard began to whisper, absolute 9 cents. You get it? Absolute 9 cents instead of nonsense. It's too much, but they spelled it T-W-O like the number. Soon a loud buzz rippled through the hall. What is the meaning of this? King Multiplis boomed, displeased by the growing confusion. It's 0, Queen Adeline told him, and something about multiplication. Multiplication, the king exclaimed. That is serious business. Let him come forward and explain himself. The room was silent. I would like to be multiplied, Zero told the king. I thought it might help me find my place and purpose. Yes, the king said. I have wondered myself what would happen. He ordered the guards to fetch his multitude. Now we're talking about multiplication here. The tube was made of solid integrium. We need to find someone who is willing to be multiplied with 0, the king said. No one moved. Finally, a young 1 stepped forward. I'll do it, the 1 said bravely. Together, 0 and the 1 jumped into the factor end of the tube. All that could be heard was the clankling and whirring of the tube. What number do you think is going to come out if 1 and 0 went into the multiplying machine? Suddenly, 0 and the 1 shot out of the other end of the tube. As 0 looked around, he saw beside him a small, round figure who looked strangely familiar. 5 alive! Exclaimed the king. It's another 0! The other numbers were speechless. Why, we must try this again, declared the flabbergasted king. This time we will multiply 0 with a 7. He called for one of his 7 guards. The guard's knees shook as he stepped forward. The same thing happened with 0 and 7. The king laughed and said, well, 0, you have your answer. No matter what number we multiply you with, we get 0. This was big news. The other numbers chattered excitedly, but 0 said, no, there are more zeros with no real place. The 1 patted 0 on the back. 0 was glad to have a friend at a time like this. so now he says, okay, but now there's a bunch of zeros, and I still don't really know what our purpose is, right? I want to make new numbers that no one has ever seen before. Zero said, sir, what number do you get if you add 1 to 9? It was one of those questions that no one ever asked. The king coughed. As everyone knows, anything bigger than 9 is many, he said. So he says, any number bigger than 9, we're just going to call it many. We don't think about 1 plus 9 because there is no digit for a number that big. Zero looked at the 1 standing next to him. He rubbed his eyes. Together, he and the 1 looked like this. And it has the number 10.
They don't know about 10.
What?
They don't know about 10. Well, it has to be.
It
like
says
one
they
line.
looked like this, and it kind of shows the picture, but it doesn't say 10 right. Sir, he cried, look at us. We can make a new number to represent what you get when you add 1 to 9. The king scratched his chin. Zero asked 9 ones to stand together. Sir, if we added 1 more to this group, we could use a 0 to show that all those ones have moved over to the next place. When I stand in this place, next to my friend 1, as a 0, I can represent 0 ones. But he now represents 9 plus 1. I like your thinking, 0, the king said. But, he whispered, I can't call the new number 9 plus 1. Quick, think of a new name. What would you guys say the new name should be?
10.
0 whispered back. This new number will attend to a lot of business. Could we call it a 10? The king couldn't hear 0 very well, so in a loud voice he said, I proclaim that this new number will be called a 10. The numbers all loved it. Hooray for 10, hooray for 10, they cheered. The numbers crowded around 0 and asked if they could stand beside him. 0 gave each digit a turn, and soon they were making wonderful new numbers, like 20, 30, 60, and 90. So if a 3 becomes a 30, what changed there? What's changing that we kind of talked about? Nick?
Well, it's a 3. Wait.
If 3 becomes a 30,
Oh.
where did the 3 go in the number?
The 3 came in front of the 0, and
So
then
instead of being in the
number, and then there can be a lot of people that can make 4-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers,
You're right.
8-digit numbers.
Back to 30 though, really quick. If a 3 now becomes a 30, the 3 goes from the 1's place and now it's in the 10's place. So it's changing place value, right? The numbers all loved it. Hooray for 10. Oh, we love this. Before long, they were standing next to each other in different combinations to make all kinds of new numbers. Numbers like 32, 47, 89, and so on and on. For a couple of people, refocus. Big numbers didn't seem quite so scary anymore. When the excitement calmed down, 0 felt someone tugging at his arm. What about me? Asked a small voice. What do you think it might be?
Another 0.
That's a good guess. We'll see. Is it my turn to stand next to you? The new little 0 asked. I'm sorry, 0 said. 2 zeros standing next to each other still equal nothing. The little 0 looked so sad that the brave 1 and 0 each put an arm around her. You guys see that? Suddenly, 0 had a thought. Look, sir, he called to the king. What do we look like? 100. So if they went from a 1 and then they added 1 more 0, the new number would be 1 to 1, and then if we add 1 more 0 onto 1,
And then they're going to go to
10,
1,000.
and then we go to 100, then we go to 1,000. So what's changing here? Starts with a P, place value, right? The king said slowly, why, you look like a new number, bigger than any I've ever seen, bigger even than the new number 90. 0 said proudly, we can represent what you get when you have 10 tens. Splendid, exclaimed the king. What's 10 tens?
100.
Soon all the other digits were clamoring to stand next to the 2 zeros because if they stand to the new zeros, their individual numbers can have a lot more value because they might go to the tens place, to the hundreds place. In the middle of the excitement, 0 noticed Count Infinity beaming at him. Well, 0, the Count smiled. Did you find what you were looking for? 0 nodded. I just wanted to mean more than nothing, he said. And now I think I finally found my place. From then on, 0 played Add 'em Up as happily as everyone else. I'm going to show these last 2 pictures for you. So why do you think now he was okay playing Add 'em Up? I mean, he still has no value when he's adding, but why do you think now he was okay with add them up, Shreya?
Because if you put 3 and 1 and 0, it's gonna, if you want to add, it's gonna
Yep, you're right. Okay, we're gonna quickly do a step, clap, clap, clap before we go over the pages we're gonna be working on in our math journals. Can I have everyone please stand up? We'll do our step.
After we do steps